Hey, what's up people? It's TTC. Today we're going to do something a little bit fun. Rewind back in time to the very first video that I put on this channel, and that was me having a good rummage through my accessory boxes, just refreshing the old memory of all the cool crap I had completely forgotten about. Now last time we started off by going through this tub of body parts. I think this time we will go with, my box of effects and props. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's just dive right in and get this emptied out. So I probably should mention that by effects and props, I just mean loads of random crap. There'll be a few cool, interesting bits in here, and probably just some absolute tat. It probably makes sense to start off with what's in these little bags. Alright, so this one here is just a bag of all the random little collectible cards and stuff, mostly McFarlane, that I've just never thrown away, really. I've got absolutely no intention of collecting these on purpose. Some of the artwork is kind of cool at least, like especially this Robin one here, that's decent. Don't even have that reverse flash figure anymore. A couple of the Arkham ones where they just have the digital rendering, yeah, not interesting. I don't have that Green Arrow anymore either. Don't know if this is your thing, but to me, it's just an absolute waste of the budget. It's just a piece of card I could not care less about. Most of them I just throw away with the packaging. I have no real idea why I've kept any of these, but there you go. The next bag is full of these little acrylic stands that I found on eBay for 3 3/4 Star Wars figures. There you go, they come from Action Figure Essentials, and you know what? They're really, really good. I just straight away bought 2 full bags of these, hoping that they'd be good, and they really are. My whole collection is just standing on these now. Just got the one little foot peg that works with most figures. If you can get hold of these, I definitely recommend them. And now this is quite a recent one. This came with the 3 3/4 Black Series Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker. It's just a soft goods little floppy brown robe that was completely inaccurate to that version of Luke, but it is pretty good for what it is. I tend to use it for more prequel style Jedi figures, although I don't really think soft goods works that well at this scale, to be honest, but if you weigh it down and hold it in place, not bad. I think everybody's got an absolute crap load of these stands. I did at one point have my entire collection on these, but they're just too big, they take up too much space, so they were replaced with the stands that you saw earlier. Most of them come in this sort of pukey brown colour, but I do seem to have one more kind of metallic one. Yay? Now this is cool. This is the Thanos bones, skulls, spine, whatever that come with the Marvel Legends white Doctor Doom figure. This is just a really cool accessory, like you can tell from the sculpting on the chin that it's supposed to be Thanos. And then just all that dirty weathering, or the sort of browny yellowy wash added to it just to make it look more bone-like. And he looks badass holding onto it like he's just pulled it straight out of his neck. It is mostly just one moulded piece of plastic, but there is a bit of articulation to the jaw so you can get sort of different angles of it dangling, I suppose. But yeah, I definitely think it's cool, but since it's in the tub, I suppose not actually cool enough to pose the figure with. There's a lot of that in this tub. This is just an over-the-shoulder strap from a Marvel Legends Hawkeye. I never really liked it because it just looks like a purple belt, and it didn't actually attach to his quiver on his back, so it just slide up and down. I'd probably actually use it if it wasn't just a random loose floaty piece, but since it is, a big hefty pipe. I'm sure we've all seen these, they come with many different Marvel Legends Hulks. I currently have a grey Hulk in my collection, so I'm pretty sure that's where this one come from. It's just supposed to look like a big metal tube of some kind that he's crushed in his grip, I suppose, and he's picked it up and swinging it around. This one's done in a weirdly sort of metallic, almost green colour. Never really seen a pipe that colour. Now this teeny tiny little thing is the explosive cat collar thing from the Arkham Knight DC Collectibles Catwoman figure. I thought I'd find some use for this, but nope. Here's another one we're probably all pretty familiar with. It's the booster repulsor effects from Marvel Legends Iron Man figures. They're not bad. You just peg them into his hands pretty easily, and then you've got a nice sort of boosting repulsor blast effect. Or you can peg them into his feet for more of a flying look. I prefer when they come with 4 of them, so you can have them in the hands and the feet at the same time, but they haven't actually done that for quite a while now. Hey, this is cool. This is a really, really nice cloak, sort of poncho thing from a Toy Biz Lord of the Rings. I think it was an Aragorn figure. I have dipped in and out of that Toy Biz line for the better part of about 20 years. I always try and collect them and then I'll just lose interest before I end up completing them, sell them on again. But this time I had to just keep hold of this cloak, because if you take Ezra here, you can see that it fits really nicely over 6-inch figures. Like, it's just got a really, really cool look to it with all those wrinkles and that sort of dirty paint added. I just grabbed Ezra because he was here already, but it probably would work better on a slightly bigger figure. But you can't deny that that looks cool as hell. And this is the big floppy ripped shirt thing that come with the Grey Hulk figure. This one's done in bright orange to match the orange shirt on the Bruce Banner figure. It's supposed to just sort of drape over the shoulders of the figure and sort of show that it's a ripped shirt. I don't know, it's not really my thing, to be honest. It's fairly nicely sculpted, it's got a bit of dirty paint on it. I'm never going to use this. Back in the tub. These are two of Odin's ravens that come with the Marvel Legends, whichever Thor it was that's the Herald of Galactus. They've got a pretty cool sculpt to both of them, but they are just cast in just plain black plastic. Maybe just a little bit of a dry brush over the feathers would have made it stand out a little bit. They're not something I'm ever really going to pose Thor with, and I don't have an Odin figure. But they do actually work really cool just in the background of sort of, if you're into like figure photography or making dioramas or whatever, then yeah, it's just nice to have some birds in the background. If you've got any skeleton figures, you can have them just sort of pecking away at the corpse and chewing on some face. Yeah! I used to have a pretty big collection of wrestling figures, but I sold them all off not too long ago. But apparently this Roman Reigns t-shirt has just survived somehow. It's not bad, it's made out of a pretty thin material so you can see straight through it, unfortunately. But again, if you're doing photography or you're making dioramas or whatever and you want some just plainclothes civilian people, then there you go. It's a t-shirt that's mildly interesting. You can just whack on someone and stick them in the back of a shot. Get this t-shirt on, man. Yeah, so again, Ezra's probably a little bit too small for this scale, but you get the general gist of it. It don't look too bad, despite the fact that they made him fasten with this Velcro up the back. Hats are actually a couple of wrestling accessories too. They come with either John Cena or the Usos or something. I painted this one just to have something a little bit different. I think they were both black originally. But again, they are a slightly bigger scale, so they kinda don't work. You try whacking one and Ezra's tiny little bonce here, and look at that, yeah, that's just gonna fall right off. Luckily, Iron Man's still here with his giant melon, and thanks to the helmet, there you go, it sort of fits quite a bit better. But ugh, that's giving me Elon Musk vibes quick. There we go, that's less divorced dad energy. These two are stuck together. Alright, so this one is the box Jewels accessory that come with the McFarlane Dark Knight Rises and Hathaway Catwoman figure. Pretty damn simple and plain. The only paint on it is those little white pearls there, but I suppose it sort of does the trick for what it's supposed to be. You can hear me trying to convince myself that things are good when I'm just really not interested in them. What was stuck to that is this little Mandalorian jetpack. I actually think this is really cool. This originally came with one of those little children's sort of smaller scale, about 5-inch scale figures that come with really oversized accessories. So I bought it just to steal this jetpack, dirty it up, add a bit of silver paint, and then just this little blob of blue tack on the back to stick it to my 6-inch Sabine figure. Now I don't have Sabine here handy, but we do still have Ezra, so here you go, you just squeeze it on as tight as you can and it holds pretty nicely, and yeah, look, I think it works. It's about right scale wise. Is it perfect? No, but at least she's actually got a jetpack now. This little jacket come with a 3 3/4 vintage collection Endor Han Solo that I got recently. For such a small scale, it's actually pretty good soft goods. Like, it seems thicker than usual, stitched better. It sort of fits in better too with those really thinner sleeves. The pockets are nicely done. Can't really complain about this, to be honest, but I'm still not going to use it because the figure is ugly. This is just a broken blade that snapped off one of Toy Biz Legolas little daggers that he keeps in his quiver. Not really too sure why I'm still keeping this. It's got a nice little sculpt to it and a nice shape, but let's face it, this is probably just going in the bin by the end of this video. We've got some Marvel Legends, just spaghetti lightning. Pretty sure this come with that Herald Thor figure that I mentioned before, because the shape of the bottom there just wraps around the handle of his hammer, and then that kind of just sparks out the top. Now this is stupid. So I think it was the Juggernaut wave. Deadpool come with this tiny little taco, which just sat in this box. I never used it for anything. And then one day my wife was making things out of clear resin, and she still had quite a bit left. And no idea why, I just decided to chuck this in it and let it set. And now I have a clear cube with a taco in the middle. Be honest, you're jealous. You don't have one. Never going to use this for anything. But, you know, it's weird and it makes me laugh. So, I suppose back in the tub, and I'll just keep it because this is a jetpack from a little 3 3/4 clone figure. It's pretty good. It's got a nice sculpt to it and fair amount of paint, I suppose. It is missing the rocket out the top, which I'm totally fine with, because if you've seen these before, the rocket is way oversized. Here's just a soft goods little jacket, which come with some kind of doll that someone bought for my daughter that she was not interested in at all. But the jacket was a smaller scale, looked closer to fitting 6-inch, so I thought, yep, I'll steal that and see if I can get any use out of it. I tried dyeing it black at one point, and for some reason, the dye did not take, so it just looks dirty as hell. Ezra's earning his keep today, but again, he is just on the slightly smaller side, so it doesn't quite fit him. But you get the general gist of it, it won't look too bad. Might work better on a 7-inch figure, to be honest. This is kind of interesting. This is just a soft goods little cape cloak thing that I bought with a Black Series Reaver, which I think like most people, I just bought Reaver to swap her legs onto Balin's skull and make him taller. But this is a pretty decent soft goods little cloak cape thing. I hope I find some use for it in the future, because it feels a shame to just let it go to waste. And these shoulder pads came from a Marvel Legends Emma Frost, the one where she's wearing the black costume. I didn't really like the way they were attached to the figure. They just sort of stuck right out from her shoulders, didn't really attach to the arms at all. So I just snipped them straight off. In fact, I put Reaver to good use again and just replaced them with her shoulder pads that aren't accurate, but they look much better than these, I think. Back to Lord of the Rings, and I'm pretty sure this is like an elven helmet that come with one of those god-awful Hobbit figures. I'm not going to be a massive expert on this, because those movies are... But it does seem like another one that's probably kind of a bit oversized. I reckon it would work fairly well on a 6-inch figure. Where the hell did I put Ezra? There you go, I suppose that's how it's supposed to fit. Unless you're supposed to pull it down and have it like some kind of horn or something. I do have a couple of these just random skulls just floating about. You can see from the holes there were actually beads on some kind of Halloween necklace originally. They got a pretty decent sculpt to them and not bad paint. So if you ever need a skull accessory for whatever reason, they're not bad looking, and I'm pretty sure they only cost me about £2. And then there's these, right? These weird swooshy attack effects, I don't even know, from the Arkham Red Hood figure. These are just not good. Obviously this one's supposed to fit over like a fist, so it sort of looks like a punching forward effect, or this one can go around a wrist or a leg or something for like a swooshing sideways. No. They weren't allowed to include guns with the figures at the time, so they just gave us whatever the hell this crap is meant to be. These few random little bits of fodder come from the DC Collectibles Arkham Origins Deathstroke. Yeah, he was in Origins, wasn't he? The belt originally went across his chest with all these little grenades and pouches that I've snipped off and used on different customs. The tassel is like half of his bandana that just sort of stuck out the back of his helmet. And then these are the shoulder pads from the same figure, and I'm actually really glad I kept these because they've got a really decent sculpt on them, and that blue shiny metallic paint is really nice too. Right, this little energy shield thing, this come from the same weird little children's scale Sabine figure that the jetpack did from earlier. Again, it was way oversized for that figure, but if you can figure out a way to attach it to a 6-inch figure, then look at that. That definitely works really well if you ask me. Now this coffee mug with the question mark came from the Diamond Select, I think it was, Gotham Riddler. I could not care less about that figure because I cannot stand Gotham. But this is a pretty decent little coffee mug accessory. It fits pretty well in his hand, there you go. I mean, might be slightly big, but look at him. He's just off on his little coffee break. And to go with that, here's the little weird fried egg sandwich thing that come with the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn figure. It's not bad. Could have done with a bit more paint in the middle. Looks like he's just eating a load of like white paint or something. But put it together with the coffee cup, yeah, there you go. It's pretty believable, isn't it? Get the right figure, like someone in a suit or like a Commissioner Gordon, and there you go, you can have him off on the lunch break. These are some cool little effects from Marvel Legends. They've come with a few figures, but I think these came with my Black Widow figure. They're just little tiny muzzle flashes and some smoke to stick in the end of your guns. Kinda hard to see against this white background, but yeah, look at it. It's just a simple effect, but it works really well. And then just whack this little carrot piece in the end of the pistol and you've got a nice little firing effect too. It'll work really well for anyone doing photography, or if you just want to run around going pew pew. I think we've all kept one of these little beaded chains at some point, hoping to be able to use it as an accessory. Quite frankly, they're way too big to be an actual metal chain necklace. Suppose it doesn't look too bad, as long as you don't want it to be a tiny necklace. It could be a giant beaded one, I suppose. But, nah, don't really work if you ask me. These shoulder pads come with a little tiny Clone Wars Mace Windu figure. They've done in this weird sort of like off, dirty white colour though, which don't look right if you ask me, so I am never going to end up using this. This little laughing fish obviously come with a Joker figure. I forget which one. It's not bad, but you need to look at it from sort of a distance, because if you get right up close on that face, man, what the hell is that? This is sort of like some kind of console button scope view thing that come from the 3 3/4 AT-TE. I bought mine second hand and it was missing one, so I just thought, right, why not go the whole hog and take the other one out as well and make it match? Much easier and cheaper than trying to track down a second one on eBay. Pretty sure this is the last piece that come from that weird little Sabine figure. It's like a gauntlet that just goes over the wrist, attaches with this little peg. But what I thought was cool about it is it had this little slide out vibro blade thing, which you don't really have on any 6-inch figures. You'd have to cut that peg off on the inside to be able to fit it over anyone's wrists, but size-wise, it works. I reckon I could make it work. This is the only collectible coin that I have. It come with the 3 3/4 30th anniversary Galactic Marine figure. Pretty decent figure, and I was interested in seeing this because, ooh, shiny things. And it is kind of cool, you know, it's a nice shiny silver, but it's not my thing. I'm not going to be collecting coins anytime soon. This tiny little hologram of Ventress come with a Clone Wars Dooku figure. It's actually pretty good. Considering how absolutely tiny it is, there is some sculpt there to suggest who it is. And the tiny little hologram projector thing has at least got a little peg to make sure it stays on, so that's not too bad. Nice amount of detail in there considering the size. These stupid little pom-pom things come with a Mattel Harley Quinn figure. They were sort of supposed to just wrap around her ankles and look like big, furry, fluffy puff things on the side of her shoes, but they do not work. See, they just sort of slide around and then do not grip at all, so they just fall off. They've spent their whole lives in this tub and I cannot see them coming out anytime soon. This is just an antenna from a 3 3/4 Phase 2 Clone Trooper figure. I've got loads of these knocking about. I tend to keep little things like this. This is just a head off a broken battle droid. They work really well for like photography or dioramas or whatever if you just dirty them up and litter them about the ground as if they've been sliced up by some lightsabers or blown up or something. You just add something a little bit extra. These swirly, twirly magic effects come with the Marvel Legends Scarlet Witch. They're pretty cool. I really like this super vibrant pink plastic that they're casting. And obviously if you use the right figure, they just slide over the wrists and sort of fit over the hands like this. It's quite simple, but yeah, it's a nice effect. Oh man, I had so many of these stupid dice from those little galactic battle, whatever the hell that's supposed to be, that come with figures. I thought I was done with them, and then I recently bought an STAP, and there we go, I guess it's made its way back into my life. These are just some chopped up straps that come from some Marvel Legends figures. Always good to have as fodder. It's a little weird hat turban type thing that come with a 3 3/4 Clone Wars Padme. I don't really tend to use it because it makes her head absolutely massive. And then there's this little broken Batman cowl that come with that Dark Knight Rises Catwoman, and it's actually pretty cool. It's got a really nice sculpt to it, all the little cracks and everything, but for some reason they did it in this really glossy black plastic. Don't make any sense to me. It is hollow. I wonder if you could fit a head under there. With a bit of squeezing, it does fit over a 6-inch figure head, I suppose.
Oi, Batman.
Now we're just down to the absolute dreck. There's a weird little clip off some kind of clone figure. Spare neck peg. Another one of those tassels from Deathstroke. a weird little pointy, spiky bead thing that I've just found and kept. And then the best thing in this whole tub, some random little twisty ties. You can never have too many of these. Alright, well I quite enjoyed going through all those. It's nice to be reminded that I'm just storing loads of crap for no reason. Don't forget to like the video, drop us a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There is still one accessory box left to go through, and that's the weapons. I'll get to that at some point. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers!